You might remember a couple of months ago, we did a video about Anissa Jones, who played Buffy on the TV show Family Affair, who died of an overdose back in the 70s. And when we went to her house, we took a cast of, when she was a kid, she signed her name in cement outside her house, and we took a cast of it. That it took us a few tries to get it, and because it was very faint, the letters weren't very deep.
I don't know if this is going to work. I've been wanting to do this for several years. And I got this modeling clay. I'm hoping this will work.
Did we get the rolling pin?
No, I'll use a
spatula.
Yeah, I have a can of window washer stuff.
Nice.
So try that. These. Hopefully that'll be enough. So I'm hoping that these are going to dry and be preserved. Oops.
People are looking out the window going, what the hell is going on out there?
Probably.
I've been sitting here looking at these things for quite a long time since it's been done, and you'll see how it turned out. They cracked. I knew that was going to happen because they're really, really difficult. It was very delicate, so it cracked in half. But you could see very, very faintly the ANNISSA. It is that way, right? Or is that
no, it's backwards.
ISSA, okay. Right, it is backwards. This is a negative cast of it. So it came out, it was an interesting try, and I'm glad we did it. And I don't know if we'll ever go back there to try it again, but we did this, and I'm quite pleased with that. Now, on that same day, we did another set of another plaster cast. This is a place that we visited back when we did the 6 Degrees of Helter. This was back in the early 2000s. Mike Dorsey and I visited, and it's in Westchester, and it was the childhood home of Squeaky from the Manson family, or the Manson commune, or whatever you want to call them. Her name was Lynette Fromme, and she grew up in Westchester, went to high school in Westchester, and we went to her house, and I'll show you what we did when we were there. All right, Sunday morning, February 2025, we're in Westchester, actually.
Continue part of West Manchester Avenue for 1.5 miles.
So there.
We're going to visit a location that I visited several years ago when we did the movie 6 Degrees of Helter Skelter. I hope it's still there. Haven't been able to check on Google Maps or anything like that. We had a little crappy luck with Buffy this morning. It was not a good cast in clay, so I'm gonna have to try a different method next time. But if I remember correctly, this one we're going to visit now was a little bit more deep, so we'll be able to get a better picture, hopefully. And we'll see where the GPS takes us. And I'm with my friend Steve here, Steve Smith. We used to do Graveline together back in the early 90s. The real Graveline.
Yeah. Driving around in those hearses that broke down every 5 minutes.
Always. You had to keep coins in the glove box for when they broke down. You could walk to a payphone. That was awful. That was so awful. And now every time I smell anything remote in a car, anything remotely mechanical or brakes, or it's like the fear of God in me. It's like my stomach just.
Yep, I remember. I had to call AAA once and get us towed, and they asked, "Well, who's in the back?" And I said, "6 people." And they're like, 6 people? You know, because
Oh my God. I remember that one time I broke down like on Rockingham, and it was like at the height of the OJ business, and people were hating on tourists anyway. And I walked to the mayor's house, and I rang the bell, and they told me to go bite it. Not so many words, but yeah.
Mayor Reardon did that?
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't. It wasn't Rockingham, but it was one street over.
Yeah.
And all those people I had to walk about a mile.
Quarter mile, turn left onto Emerson Avenue.
I had to walk about a half. No, I got to walk about a mile to get to a payphone and call taxis and a tow truck, and then I laid down in the back of the hearse because I didn't want the neighbors to see me.
Right.
Because it was so awful. Because they were so nasty about tour buses. That was good times.
Yeah.
That was, man, that was
At
rough.
the light, turn left onto Emerson Avenue.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Apparently, Linda Ronstadt lived in that area and sold her house just
In a
a
quarter
month
mile, turn
before
right onto West 82nd Street.
a month before the OJ
Really?
thing happened. It's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
I'm sure she was thrilled about that.
Well, then Linda Ronstadt supposedly lived right by Gary Hinman's house.
Yeah.
And her brother found Rebecca Schaefer, right?
Her brother arrested Rebecca
Bardo.
Bardo, or he was chief of police of Tucson at that time too. I briefly knew her younger brother, Michael.
Turn right onto West 82nd Street. Then your destination will be on the left.
He and his sons did grassroots acoustic when I was doing it back in the early 2000s, or not 2000s, 2010 and around that time.
How far down? What's the number on it again?
6511. That's 6550, so it's going to be on that side. So we got
31. It's a light post. That must be it.
Your destination is on the left.
Okay, let's do it.
and I should give the GPS 5 thumbs up. Again, it was there.
There it is.
Wait for this part. Try it again. So it's better if I just do it fast and I don't really press down on it. Okay.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. The results of Lynette's signature in the street post out front of her house, again, they cracked just much like the Anissa Jones did. So here's the Lynette, which came out pretty good considering how quickly it was that I took that. There's the Lynette. and this is the Fromme. So this was just like kind of like a dine and dash thing. I ran out, and it only took me a second to do these. Anisha took a lot longer, but these are pretty cool. I don't know if we'll ever do the reverse image of that, but these came out pretty good. So the results of the Squeaky signature in cement.
You heard me.